Hi there, I am Markku Ollikainen. I am the professor of environmental and resource economics at the University of Helsinki. My discipline, environmental economics, emerged as a sub-discipline of economics during 1970s as a response to increasing environmental problems all over the world. Its goal is to adjust in a balanced way current economic activities towards the boundaries of the nature. My research focuses on issues relating to water protection, biodiversity conservation, and climate change mitigation. They all are topical and impact greatly current policy making. My work on the protection of the Baltic Sea started from two fishing trips. During the first one, my friend asked me to go fishing east from the city of Helsinki into the Gulf of Finland. He had a motorboat and we drove to outer islands. Then his motor broke out and I had to row us to a small rocky island. We waited there for hours until by a chance a fisherman came by and took us to his harbor, fixed the motor so that we could drive back home. But the 4 hours on this small rocky island have been decisive in kindling my keen interest in the protection of the Baltic Sea. You see, I am from Lapland and I'm used to wide round landscapes and eternal voice of winds in the high treeless mountains in Lapland. Now I found the very same features and the same homely feeling in the sea. That experience made me lose my heart to the Baltic Sea. The other fishing trip was with my two sons. I was teaching them fly fishing in the river Vantajoki. At that time, the quality of water was poor and the fish tasted bad. We started thinking about how to improve the quality of water. It was clear that nutrient flows from agriculture and point sources spoil the river and must be reduced. But how to make these polluters to do that? My first paper was on protection issues was on the use of buffer strips and reduced fertilizer application in agriculture when the damage from loads to the Baltic Sea is taken into account. The paper weighted the profits from cultivation against the damage in the sea and designed economic instruments to reduce the loading. Since then, my work has covered topics such as agreements between the Baltic Sea countries to reduce their loads to the sea, designing economic instruments to reduce agricultural non-point source pollution, the optimal abatement of nitrogen and phosphorus in wastewater treatment plants, cost-benefit analysis of sea-based measures to reduce the so-called internal loading of phosphorus. I have examined and propagated in public for the introduction of new incentive-based instruments that focus on the most polluting areas or river basins. Recently, I have studied the role of new measures such as gypsum or structural liming in water protection for agriculture, and also how to reduce microplastic pollution to the Baltic Sea. Over time, it has become more than evident that climate change will alter the conditions for the success in the Baltic Sea protection. Therefore, I have started to combine my research on climate change mitigation issues with the border protection issues. All my work is very dependent on what natural science tells about the links between loads, emissions, and the state of water or the state of soils, arable soils. I very much enjoy working with other disciplines, and I greatly honor the deep understanding natural sciences and social sciences provide on the subject. I'm proud of this cap from the research station Husö, given me by Professor Johanna Mattila as an indication of fruitful cooperation after a 2 weeks long intensive course for doctoral students on the Baltic Sea biodiversity issues. I also hope that I have been able to provide other scientists the necessary insights in environmental economic analysis of water issues, because understanding of economic incentives and political considerations are vital for solving the challenges in the policy making. My work will continue. There's much to do to improve the state of the Baltic Sea and to mitigate the climate change. I am happy that over time I have educated many doctoral students on this subject. They will increase the volume and quality of economic research on these issues. We have luckily already witnessed considerable decrease in the external loads to the Baltic Sea. But it is important that we continue our work both in research and in practice for the better quality in the Baltic Sea.